what's wanted is for us to let it happen. Because when we let them, they do what they want, even step on us. Hello everyone, here's the launch of a new format where the aim will be to answer questions on which I've done quite a bit of introspection, and we'll go further with that my guides and anyone else who's willing to help us understand these mechanisms that we will see here. Today, we're on the subject, why are you waiting for a savior? I start asking ChatGPT what is a savior. ChatGPT tells me the word savior can have several meanings depending on the context. Here are the main ones. A savior is someone who saves someone from danger or difficult situation. Religious meaning: in Christianity, the capitalized savior refers to Jesus Christ, considered to be the one who saved mankind from sin. ChatGPT also has a figurative or psychological meaning: a person who constantly takes on the role of saving others, sometimes excessively or intrusively. This can be seen in the dynamics of Karpman triangles. So, to sum up, for religion, at least Christianity, the Savior is Jesus, and the text mentions that he will return at the end of time. What's more, it doesn't say how he'll come back. If we consider that we are in this period, we can ask ourselves how he will return. In my opinion, if we are in this period, we are wrong to think that he will return physically. As far as I'm concerned, he's coming back in people's hearts. If we dwell on the psychological aspect, the savior in Karpman's triangle is someone toxic. If you're looking for a savior, what are you going to find? You're going to find someone who's toxic, who takes himself for what is not. What are the intentions of those call themselves saviors? Do they really want to help you? Be careful not to confuse people who have fought for values with people who take advantage of your situation to make themselves feel better. What the search of a savior says about you. In the Karpman triangle, you can think of yourself as the victim. So I asked ChatGPT, what is a victim? In relationships or behaviors, a victim can also be someone who adopts a passive role, who perceives himself as powerless or who waits to be rescued in quotation marks. Based on this definition, we can say that what characterizes a victim is passivity, powerlessness, and expectations. I try to rack my brain in introspection to identify where this might come from, these traits that are expressed in few people. Personally, I think it's a mentality induced by society. In other words, we've been made passive. We had parents and grandparents who did things, so they were an active population. Now, we don't do much if we don't want to. For example, there aren't many people out in the fields harvesting. There aren't even many people cooking. Most people who don't feel like cooking buy ready-made food. We don't have to maintain ourselves physically and mentally either. In other words, people don't even do sport anymore, and they just buy machines to stimulate their muscles if they don't want to. Or for those who don't want to buy machines to build up their muscles locally, they justify it with body positivity. And for the mental case, you'll be told that it's normal, that you're part of minority. So basically, it's not your fault. What happens if that we absolve ourselves of everything and become passive without realizing it? If you let yourself go, you become passive. The second trait we've seen characterizes the victim, powerlessness. We can link this to authority right away. It's transferred to the state and to corporate executives. In other words, you told, do this, it's for your own good. So it's not necessarily for your own good, but that's what they tell you. We all experienced this in 2020. It deactivates distrust and you say, oh well, it's for my own good. Or maybe your boss or someone in your family tells you to do that. It's not asking you to think, it's an order. And when you say, as I did in a company, that something's wrong, you report it because you're acting in good faith, and your boss will look at you and say, I don't care. Well, it doesn't care. You feel powerless because you're doing what you can, and your boss doesn't care about trying to put things right. It's not his interest. So you devalue yourself, and that's not good. In both cases, you feel powerless. At least we're conditioned to feel powerless. And what's wanted is for us to let it happen. Because when we let them, they do what they want, even step on us. Third characteristic of a victim, expectations. When you're waiting for someone or something, your energies are focused on it. In other words, when you have expectations, the energy of waiting is an energy that doesn't move. You're looking at non-circulating energy. Non-circulating energy is blocked energy, and waiting energy will end up creating functionings in matter because everything you think will end up going down into matter if you let it. It's often unconscious. As you have an imbalance with waiting energy, you wait and you stay in this energy, and that doesn't circulate. So you feed this energy that doesn't circulate, and you stay in loop there, and nothing happens because you're feeding an egregore. In this case, the egregore of expectation, and you no longer have the energy to create and develop. If you don't realize that you're waiting, it can go on like this for a very long time until you're drained of energy. At some point, you're going to have to break the cycle and stop waiting. If you don't, your energy will slowly be sucked out of you. In conclusion to this diagnosis, which is mine, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just my opinion, okay? The behavior of a person waiting for a savior is partly induced by our society, which wants a passive and powerless population. And the behavior of a person waiting for a savior is also induced by an unconscious toxic psychic functioning. The way out of this that I identified is to become active in your life. You need to become active. This means breaking the loop as quickly as possible, being in the present moment, and setting healthy goals. Expectation is not a healthy goal. To get back on track, the main quality you'll need to find and develop is willpower. Willpower is central. To stop believing in Savior, you have to have willpower to say to yourself, it's no use. You are the only actor in your life. No one can decide for you.